Good morning. Thank you for stepping into my queendom for another episode of Queening with the Empress with me, your host, Patience Pat Phiri. On today's show, I am bringing on someone I have a pleasure of calling a dear friend. She has been a broadcaster for many years. I call her the original celebrity because she seems to be everyone's crush. And she also has a way, if you know her, then I know your age group. I kind of know your age group, especially if you know her from the time she was on Teen Scene. Then I know that you're older than me because I was very young then. But she's gone on to be the face of tourism in Zimbabwe. She has been to all the four corners of the country and showed us on the national broadcaster the beautiful sights that Zimbabwe has. She is a proud mother to a very, very smart daughter who is a sports woman and is earning her colors in her own right, and I think has a mouth as well that rivals her mother's. And it is my pleasure to call on to Queening with the Empress, the one, the only, she's laughing, the one, the only, Sizwakele Zwa Ndlovu. I wanted to say Sizwakele, okay, so Sizwakele Ndlovu, yeah?
Yes.
R Ndlovu, Sizwakele, but many people know you as Zwa. So Zwa has become the thing.
Yes.
It's become a Zwa.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome, Zwa.
Thank you so much, Patience. I'm trying to compose myself. It's
There's
so
no
hard.
need for that. Go Queening with the Empress, yes, in composure and one by by. You see?
Okay, I'll stop laughing.
Welcome officially, because
Thank you.
You've been on the show when we did the COVID video send-in.
Yes.
And you're telling people to
Yeah.
do stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
But you've never officially been on set.
Yes, so I'm so excited. It's like, woo, I'm with Patience. I'm here, people. I'm here. Hi, mommy.
Oh,
Okay, I'll stop.
okay.
Okay, I'll be
Thank you.
happy place.
Thank you. I just told people you're a broadcaster. Can you pretend to be a broadcaster?
Good morning, Patience Phiri. How are you this morning?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you so much for the invitation to come to the show.
Okay, enough. Broadcasting. Did it call you, or did you just wake up and it was there?
It was a series. It was serendipity.
Uh-huh.
It was a series of fortunate coincidences.
Okay.
I fell into it by chance. I remember how I met the first people who linked me onto broadcasting. I think I was finishing high school. I just finished high school.
Mm-hmm.
There was the launch of MZWP.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the multi-million that was supposed to happen. And I got to
waiting.
and we're still waiting 20 years later. But that's another story. So I had gone with my friend and her mom, and somehow I ended up reading a poem. And then ZBC crew was there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, hey you, we like you. We should link up sometime." So I mean, you wouldn't know because you're so young.
I am, right?
Yeah, so and one day later, another, I think about a year or two later, I don't even remember timelines anymore. Then we met up, did a pilot, the next thing it was TNC. Although in high school I did tell people, one day I'm going to be on TV because I was so loud. Well, most parts. Yeah, so I don't know. So that's how it happened.
And many years later,
Yes.
do you feel, because you've done more TV than radio, do you feel TV is your thing?
I was ready to retire from TV because at some point I thought there was I'd just done enough.
Okay.
And maybe I was just tired of seeing my face. And hearing my voice and hearing my stupid laugh. Sometimes I see myself on TV like, oh, stop it.
Uh-huh.
So I thought I'd had enough. But then it's you keep getting drawn back to be drawn in front of the camera, like here you are, here I am again. And I think it's one of those things I can't shake off.
So you've done TV and radio.
Yes.
Your time in radio, do you want to talk about it? Okay.
My time in radio is with this person, most of the time, called Patience Phiri. Maybe you know her.
No.
And there's this lady called Patience Phiri,
Okay.
dearest friend of mine. I don't know. We somehow end up getting on adventures. And radio is one of them. I actually did a play with her called Naked Girls Reading, but that's another story. So this person happened to be, I don't know, we fell into radio together.
Uh-huh.
She did her show, I'd do my show, but we'd meet up. And it was really, really amazing. And she still owes me a podcast together, but that's another story. So it was a journey. It's been fun. And I think when you have bad days, when you have cold sores and blisters on your face, I really wish I was back on radio. Because TV has so much pressure and you have to look right or act right and everybody just zooms in and things like that. But both mediums are really great. I love them. But I love TV more, maybe, some days.
So TV has your heart.
Yeah, TV was my first love and my first hate. So I enjoyed, I don't know, it's like, you know how art is. You put something out and you're fun doing it, but once it's out there for public consumption, there's this, oh my goodness, what have I done? There's that overcritical stuff. Maybe I got tired of that as well. Like, there's this angst, there's this anxiety. How will it be received? And when you get the feedback, you just think, I can't do this anymore. So it's that love-hate relationship of art and putting yourself out there.
If you had the power, what would you change with our broadcasting? The regulation. What would you want to see happen?
Can you just scrap all of it?
Heat resets.
For example, the fees to set up a station.
To get the license.
It's prohibitive. Therefore, you find that you'll have monopolies. When there's so many people who've got great stories to tell, there's producers out there, there's editors, there's people who can put stories together and have their own channel to distribute it. On the internet, look, it's great, but people still want to switch on a TV, especially in Zimbabwe with prohibitive charges and things like that. You want your story from a plum tree. I want to see my community TV. I want to see something from Tari.
Your language, your culture.
Yes, yeah. And YouTube and all those things can never replace that for me. So my charges and all that and red tape, you have to do this, blah blah blah. It's ridiculous. So that's why it stops so many voices and stories being heard. And we need that. So that would be the first thing. Repeal everything. I don't know what else is there. But the fees thing would have to just go.
And just open up the airspace.
Open up the airspace. Because the popular voices will rise or whatever. But it's the little voices as well that have their own little niche. That need to be heard. That need to hear their stories. I need to hear something that resonates with me as a person, as a Zimbabwean, as a person from Popoma, you know. And yes.
Did you just do like a shout out?
Yes, shout out to Popoma. So my localized story, I need that. I need to touch base with something when I switch on TV.
Yeah.
Or radio or something. Okay, my community radios, yes, it's great, but sure, it's not enough.
It's not. Okay.
Yeah.
So before we go to the break, who do you think is your dream interview? Who would you love to? You know you can't say me, right? Because like that defeats the purpose. Who would you love to interview?
Yo, Peshi. You on a good day, uncensored would be so much.
That was not on offer, but anyway, moving forward.
You know, you gave me an idea of just delving into my history. I did it with my mom once, but it was like on my birthday, various things about me. That whole interview, my history, genealogy, to the hierarchies, and just put everything down because it was just a bit, but just delving more and just saying, who are we, where do you come from, and linking up from there. So it would be, Mama Sibili, iti, Salgas Kuluk.
Okay. We have heard from Zwa the broadcaster. When we come back after the break, we will talk to her about being a woman in this beautiful country of ours, Zimbabwe. Join us then. back to Queening with the Empress with me, Phiri, and I'm here today with broadcaster Sizwakele Ndlovu, popularly known as Zwa. And before the break, we're talking about her broadcasting journey, and now we want to go over Zwa and talk about being a woman that is raising a daughter.
Yeah.
In Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
During this time.
Yeah. Yo, it's, yeah.
How is the journey? Because to me is, okay, I'm sounding like I know a lot. Your daughter is a fully fledged teenager.
Yes.
With a mind of her own.
Can say that again.
How are you finding that though?
Whew.
Remember, she's going to watch this. So.
I think the journey was harder when she was younger. Because, remember Incredibles?
Yeah.
There was that baby Jack. When he was like, when he had tantrums, and then she was like that. And then I thought, okay, I brace myself for worse times ahead. My 2 years and tantrums are like this. But then we fell into some sort of good relationship, as it were, and we started talking. And now her teen years are actually less traumatic in behavior-wise
than her 2 years.
Than her 2 years, just like, whoa, no more babies after this. So it's the levels of communication. You have to keep the lines open. You have to hear uncomfortable things in order to get to the things that really matter. Sometimes you just have to maintain your face, like, oh, this happened. Like, what? And there's that comparison. So yeah, I didn't talk to this with my mother or whatever it is, but you just have to maintain that. Oh, sure, sweetie. Yeah. So it's difficult because they are doing supposedly so much more than we did, but which is what I'd like to say. But we also had our own issues back then.
Yeah.
But Katesi was Sabeluguti. So we'll track record on internet.
Yeah.
I'm a biggie, I'm a video. It's there for posterity to say, you can't walk away. Now somebody will say, so I used to do this. Like, prove it, my guy.
Yeah.
Whereas now they take off. I was like, yeah, actually, you've got this history. So I think it's hard to navigate that.
You went to a private school at some point.
Yes.
And I know your daughter is also at a private school.
Yes.
In recent weeks, there's been a lot of talk about racism in private schools. There's been pages that have been opened where people are talking about being black at whatever school they mention.
Yeah.
Did you experience, or did you see it, or do you remember when you think back, did you see things that were slightly, when you were back in school, and now, looking back many years later, and getting to relive it through your daughter, do you think she goes through that?
Okay. When I went to private school, I'm very implemented. Shout out again. And there was such a culture shock.
Yeah.
They'll have accents and you're already so lost. So I can't say it was racism. It was just an issue of being in a different environment and trying to adjust. And when you're reading in class, people laugh, but it happens everywhere.
Because your accent was
not... okay. So, and you get used to it, you grow, and life goes on. I can't recall a racial incident during my time. But now, I think what I see now is more like, I see more regionalism, not racism. Harare versus Blau, like she's very sporty, as you mentioned. And you'll see that Harare plays by different rules, or most tournaments you have to go up for whatever. And there's so much stuff going on there, more than what I see at school. And how can I put it in English?
Listen to
So, you know what? You'll find you hear the complaints. These black people, these black teachers went and told the child to do her hair. I have seen some of this hair, and it is nasty. You just see these kids and you're like, I'm a buzz, overgrown.
Yeah.
But there'll always be a reason. If it was, and then it's like, if it's a black person disciplining, it's like, she's got no black pride. So can you imagine if it was a white person telling you to fix your hair? It will still
then
be
it's worse, yeah.
Either way, they're damned in some cases, because some people just don't want rules. No, fix your hair, brush your hair, brush your hair. It is necessary, carrying the brand of the school. And unfortunately, there'll be some people who will just either way have
so
a
the
story.
people that are walking around easily triggered is what you're saying?
Yes, and who want to sell a story which I am a victim. There's so many victims out there. I'm not saying there isn't racism, but you will find cases which, but it should be your hair is nasty. Your shirt is pulled out. No, you didn't do this and that. So,
but how do you then, with your daughter now, the world is going through a lot of difficult times, especially when it comes to race. We're seeing in the States and overseas, the black and white differences are really glaring. How do you then say to your daughter, as she grows up, and prepare her for the world, as a woman in Zimbabwe, as a woman in Africa, how do you prepare her for the world out there?
I had to look at myself first to see what issues I have. Because, for example, it took me a while to realize that I have really low self-esteem. And in having that, I've passed certain issues on to my daughter. So I've had to look at myself, have my issues, and get to a point where I say, I matter. And teach her that she matters as a person. Before black, race, sex, whatever, she finds a place and like, you matter. And once she settles into that whole truth that she matters, she's enough, she can then go out and kick the world.
And face whatever.
Yes, in Zimbabwe, in America, but it was just that whole case of you as a person, you as a
You're
woman
enough.
matter. So it's been a process of having to undo some damage that I have done, that I inherited, that I have passed on. And right now, it is a journey that we're going through right now as well, to say, okay, I need to face this, I need to do this, talk to me. Where have I gone wrong? Read the material, read the books. We're going through a book. And I find that when she gets grounded as a person, she'll be able to go forth.
Zwa, you're raising your daughter in a time where drugs, sex, and general bad behavior is rampant. And we're also seeing, even in the news, that the safety of women is not at its best at the moment. How do you handle that when she has to go out, when she has to go and play sports, whatever she has to do? How do you handle it?
I suppose it goes back to the whole issue of Dalan. This is what I've done, and this has been my consequences. And I can't tell you how to run your life. I will show you and I will tell you. And I think there's been a thing of Uguti, Abadala don't tell us what they did because this is Abadelela. And at the right time, I believe you tell your child, Uguti, you know what, I messed up here. And this is how my life went off track. And I've shared age-appropriate things as we go along. Uguti, this is, to me, this, that. And have that dialogue. But ultimately, your life is yours. And I got to the point where I'm saying, I have to, as much as I love her, there's a separation of what you are your own self. And whatever she chooses, some of the things she chooses to do, like the clothes she wears and things like that, it's like, oh my goodness, take that off. But I have to separate that self and believe that I have sowed enough seeds for her to flourish with. But I'll always be there as a guide and just say, you want to speak out, we'll find you and we'll kill you. But there's consequences, yes. And you just have to trust. We've done what we can. Although, of course, yes, you've got your readers, your aunties, your uncles out there like, shh. But you get to a point where you say, there's nothing more I can do. You've taught, and they just have to make their own decision.
We've spoken about women in Zimbabwe. What do you feel needs to be done for the plight of women in Zimbabwe? Because as we sound like we're saying the same thing over and over. can we have sanitary wear that is affordable, that is accessible?
Yeah.
Can we be safe? Can we have good health care? What do you think? Like, what must happen? Vele kwenziweni? Because abafazi sokungani abafazi bayahlupha, but hey.
I think, mina personally from Seluf, I don't think I've played enough of a role.
Okay.
And in speaking out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, a couple of months ago, I discovered you can make a petition to Parliament regarding certain issues. Have I done anything? No.
Mm-hmm.
Have I provided support where I could have? No. Have I rallied the troops, as it were? I haven't done my part. So it's easy for me to say, oh, somebody could have done it. And yes, I'd like to say, I used to like to say that. But every time I have an issue now, I was like, but Chomi, maybe you, then me doing something could have led to me have somebody else doing something. Because we are saying the same story. Why haven't we solved the pad issue? Because I've been quiet. Because I'll tweet about it. But have I done anything concrete? No. So it's just that self-awareness. So to me, but what have you done in this? What role have you played? Because I'm the lost generation that feels entitled to everything. But they won't care about that. My children, my grandchildren. Yeah, you're lost. There were others who did worse than you. Yeah, so I don't have... My life economically was messed up. And I didn't get to buy a bed. But I still have obligations. What have I done? And so what have you done and what are you going to do? Says I change. You have works as a little page. And you know, I'm a network setter. We have different networks. If we all came together as women. But if like, Page started a sanitary work, why should I support her?
So yes. Okay.
But if like I think we show. But you open that, so much right. When I said there's a local. I said the parliament. I said say which is for the sanitary way. I said they look, but you are all these keyboard warriors. We'll say something, we sound good, we sounded good in the WhatsApp groups. But I'm not so much. So I don't know. Others have done stuff. Yes, we commend them, but me as a person, I'm guilty of being lazy and just like, somebody else will sort it out. And it's...
So you're waiting for somebody else to do it. Okay.
Yes.
And then in closing, the future. With the COVID, with the lockdown, with everything starting to open up and hopefully brighter fortunes, what does it look like for you?
Peshi, it's very... Can I be honest? It's the most uncertain time I've ever faced. Because you go through periods of like, okay, got job, this, I've got this gig, I've got this project I'm working on. I know where life is going. I know fuel. It's so uncertain. First, it's just a health issue. Will I be around tomorrow? And you then have to start having faith. I just think I went into a depression, like, oh gosh, where's life going? But then you just have to step up and say, maybe I was never in control. I had illusions of control. I knew I'd get a paycheck at the end of the month. It was an illusion of control. But now that those illusions have fallen away, I'm standing, I have to trust in some other power. And it's literally one day at a time. Yes, I have plans. We had plans, and look what happened to the plans. Now I'm feeling even a bit anxious to plan because it's like, what's the point? But I have to still stay in the present and say, I'm here, and what can I do today? That's all I can do. Make plans, but don't rely on them so much. But still just be today. Count my blessings today. Live today. And that's all I plan to do, really. Basically, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on Queening with the Empress.
Thank you so much.
Stepping into our queendom.
I loved it. I was in my queendom.
We'll be back after the break and I will give my royal thoughts. So for today's Queening with the Empress, my royal thoughts, having spoken to Sizwakele, who, like I did say, is a dear friend of mine, and is raising a daughter, which in itself is something that is very commendable, especially at this time. I have a son, and my fears, I guess, when I speak to her who's raising a daughter, are more or less the same, because I am raising a young black man, and at a time when men are called many names, when men are afraid of how they will be looked at. Many people think they're horrible beings, and we see some of them, and it's not all of them, unfortunately, that are badly behaved, but they end up being put in the same space. So talking to her and hearing her journey with her daughter, it must be hard to raise a woman, and I can't even begin to think how many prayers you say when you leave your child, and even if it's for the weekend, and you hope that they come back home safe and nothing bad happens to them, and having to deal with issues of remembering who they are and remembering to love themselves, even when the world says your hair is not right, your pigmentation is not right, you don't speak right, you don't look right, all those things. So it can't be easy. It must be really hard. And then when she talks about broadcasting, it is funny because when we talk about it in our private spaces, and the things that we don't say in front of the camera is there is need for the whole system to heat reset and we rethink, is the current are the current regulations even at, I don't want to say at par, because at par would mean it's high up there, but are they even at a space where we can say we relate? Why don't we have community radios? Why don't we have each province having their own radio stations, each area? eFlabusi kube le radio, eBinga kube le radio, eLupane kube le radio, so that people have ownership and people are not deprived of information. Why are we having to be forced to do the same thing? And izimali ezifunekalayo, like vele uba done to finish nje vele bengathi bekutshela iform yakho ukuthi iform nanso ufunakala imali engaka. And does that not work against freedom of speech? I don't know, because we want to hear our stories, we want to hear our languages, we want to preserve our cultures and all these things. So hearing it from someone who's been in broadcasting for a while makes me realize that the struggles that we face now are still a journey for all these things to be fixed and appropriate. So all I will say is aluta continua to the broadcasters and the broadcasting journey and everything. So from me and the crew behind the scenes, we hope you stay safe and stay warm during these winter months, and we'll see you next week. Bye.